It's still twirling. Here we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to Healing Conversations. I am Dr. Alicia. I'm a therapist, a social work professor, and your guide on this journey where we are going to explore deeper emotional stories. We're going to be talking about healing today because it's Monday. And today we are diving into a topic that is old as time, and it is the search for love. And it has to do with what are some of the things that get in the way with your search for love. And I don't know about you guys, but I have been watching all of these dating shows. I'm obsessed with it. 90 Day Fiancé. I'm obsessed with The Bachelor, Love is Blind, Married at First Sight. Even this one show called Too Hot to Handle. All of these great shows. And there's another show I'm watching with my daughter called Love Island. Anybody watch Love Island? Anyway, it is so interesting. But in taking all of these dating shows into account, one thing is very clear. Millions of people are yearning for connection. And when I watch these shows, thousands apply for these shows every single season of all of these dozens of shows that are out there. Why is that? I think it's because deep down, we all want to be seen. We all want to be known. We all want to be loved. And more importantly, we all want to be healed. So, joining me today is my guest. Her name is Leona Abdullah, and we've been sitting here getting to know each other. She is an expert with healing trauma. I've been talking to her about this, and she's telling me that she does these emotional emancipation circles. She does healing circles. She's involved in healing work in our community, and she's someone with a very unique perspective on love and healing because she's a dancer here, and she uses dance as a healing avenue. And so I just want to welcome you, Leona. How are you?
I'm really well. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me on your show. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so happy that you are here. And let me tell you, just listening to you before we started, it just made me feel so good because you're doing the work that I feel like everybody needs to hear about and everyone needs to do, because people get frustrated and stuck. When they try to look for love, they get scared and they're too afraid to put themselves out there. And it's funny because I have a 22-year-old son, and I said, wow, these people are joining these dating circles. What's going on? These dating shows. And I said, would you ever go on a show like that? And he said, actually, it would be really nice if someone found a partner for me. So that is so fascinating that we've gotten to the stage now where, sometimes men feel so uncertain about how to even approach a woman because of fear, I wonder. I always think about that. So my question to you is, why do you think so many people are drawn to finding love, even if it's on national television?
Well, I think that people are they're drawn to finding love because it's a natural thing to do. We all need love. The animals are drawn to each other to find love. Everything in the universe is. I think that it's a natural thing. If a baby is without love, we're going to have a problem with that baby, And as we go through life, it's the same thing. It's just that things have changed so much that we're looking for love in different places because it's on the internet. It's telling you to go one direction. It's on the TV and it's telling you to go another direction. It's telling you what you need to have to be loved. It's telling you so many things, and you've got to make these decisions instead of looking into you. We get so confused in it.
Yeah, People are really confused. They don't know what to do because it used to be that things were so certain. And
Mm-hmm.
now people don't know how to embrace uncertainty. It's really hard. And it's interesting because this tells us a lot about the emotional needs that
Mm-hmm.
often go unmet in everyday life. And
Right.
you're saying even the animals want it. Everybody's looking for it, but they just can't get it.
Absolutely. I often think about, things like when I was growing up, they would if you was maybe 21 years old, something like that, everybody in the family be asking, "You're not married yet? When you gonna get married? What's wrong with you, girl?" They go through things like that simply because we weren't married by the age of 21. And now it's like, wait a minute, hold it. Maybe you should hold a minute before you get married. So things have changed so in such a way, and it's almost. I think we have too many things that's leading us.
Too many things. Like it's so interesting because sometimes it's hard
Mhm.
because you look at these reality shows and it shows you so much fantasy. It is not really real. Do people really do this when they're dating? And I don't know if anybody has watched any of these shows. For everybody that's joining us, I just want to say hello to everybody. I see y'all coming in here. Today, we're talking about everybody looking for love and all of these challenges of dating. Things are so uncertain, and all of the rules of dating have been thrown away.
Mhm.
And it's leaving young people in particular with just this question mark in their head about what is the reality of dating, what is not real. Like these reality shows, I think is some sort of like produced
Mhm.
and it's all these competitions to find love, and are you going to make it to the end, and all of these shows. I think it's really interesting. How do young people tease between reality versus fantasy?
I wish I can, I'm not into those reality shows. I don't
Uh-huh.
seen any of them. Because I don't look into no reality shows. They don't interest me at all.
Oh, please, you don't want to watch them because you start watching them, they will hook you in and
Mm,
you get caught up in some drama of other people. I advise you don't even put yourself through that, Miss Leona.
oh no.
But I just kind of watch it because I got young people in the house
Oh
and they
yeah.
put me into, hey, Black Lexicon, how you doing? I
Hmm.
never understood how I never understood how dating leads to love. Interesting, Black Lexicon. Explain what you mean by that. How dating leads to love. Well, that's interesting concept. I mean, um, I spent some time in other cultures,
Hmm.
and sometimes there is no dating. Your parents get together and they kind of match you up with somebody, and that takes the whole kind of stress out of trying to find somebody and spending so much time figuring out if this person is the right one for you. So many times you get like arranged dating or setting people up on blind dates just to kind of remove kind of the mystery of dating. What do you think about that, Miss Leona?
Ah, I think that we have so many different ways of dating now. We have so many different cultures, and all the different cultures and their different ways of dating, and they feel comfortable in their culture the way they in our culture. I think we kind of look for whatever is right for the culture because we've lost our culture,
Ah,
and so we look for whatever we think would work for this situation. That looked pretty cool. I think I'll add that to it, whatever. But and there's so much out there to grab. Everything is saying do it this way, look at
yeah.
it this way. And so, and I guess when you're looking out there, instead of looking at it in a different way as to how we feel.
That's so interesting because I feel like people just aren't realistic when it comes to dating. Like they get so caught up into the falling in love piece. And that's not reality. Falling in love is at the beginning of a relationship. You're not falling in love with the real person. You
Right.
don't haven't known each other yet. The real love happens after you're let down and disappointed, because you're falling in love with the hope and dream of the future of this person being the most wonderful person in your life. But the reality is that after you get through that beginning initial romantic phase, then you get into conflict phase, and
Right.
that's where you get to see the entire person. And what I'm trying to do with the work that I do with couples is to get them past this conflict phase so they can get into really knowing each other. And that's when real love, real commitment, real intimacy takes place. And to do that, there's so much healing that has to be done.
Mhm.
Anything you can say to that?
Absolutely. That's exactly what we have to do, is get through that phase so that we can learn to love each other. But I think that phase we can get through if we're concerned about who that person is, knowing who that person is, what we're hurting. Sometimes we walk away from those parts, not knowing who that person is, that we stumping on something that we don't understand, you know.
And that not understanding
Mhm.
creates so much worry in a lot of people. They just want to just back off. It's overwhelming for them not to be able to understand.
Absolutely. Mm.
Ah, well,
And
I see some more people coming in. I just want to welcome everybody to Healing Conversations. We are talking about how everybody's looking for love, and it's a challenge nowadays. And sometimes we're not quite sure what to do. And so, I am fascinating. The fascinating part that I find is how people aren't just looking for love, they're also seeking help. Like, they trust matchmakers and dating coaches and even therapists and psychologists like me and you.
right.
What does it say about us that people are willing to be so vulnerable in public finding love and seeking help finding love? What does that say?
Mm. That I feel as though we want a partner, you know. We want to be loved. We all want to be loved. And we want someone. It's nice to have someone there to help you with the things that you do. Nice to have
Mm.
a partner in crime, someone there for you who want to back you up. Oh, it feels good. And we all want to get to that phase in life, you know. It
Yeah, you don't want to grow, you don't want to be lonely. There's so many people that feel like they're lonely. They're like, I want to have somebody I can go to the movies with. They have this glamorized version of relationships and marriage. And, I want somebody that I can grow old with. I want somebody that I can have children with, depending on what your goals are. And so they just are stuck. And I think ever since COVID, I'm finding that people just aren't coming out as much. They're not socializing as much. And it's something to, get people together so that they can find someone. And I think even more so today than even 10 or 20 years ago, people are just looking for individuals like me and you, Leona, to help us. So, what are some healthy ways we can seek help in love that's not just reality television?
I think going to places that uh events or
Mm.
places that find people that enjoy the things that you enjoy, maybe the same type of shows, somebody who like to go for walks daily.
So finding somebody who has similar interests as you, or figuring out what's important for you.
Mm,
Maybe going out and I mean, I'm here in Illinois and a lot of people walk along the lakefront. Maybe doing some of the things that you enjoy doing, you'll find your perfect person there, you think?
I think so. And I think that's where you want to find. I don't know about a perfect person.
Well, the person that's perfect for you.
Right. At that time, because it changes constantly.
That's so true. Like,
Uh,
it's funny because it's like, I think about like where I was 20 years ago. The kind of person for me 20 years ago would be different for somebody for me right now. And so I grow and change and evolve.
right.
And it's nice to be in a relationship with somebody that's also growing and changing and evolving.
Right.
So your needs are different and
Mm,
it's such a difficult thing. And I think some people find it so hard to commit to
mhm,
one person
right.
because they have to you have to pick one person.
And
That one person. Mhm.
and I think that's why we're looking for a partner, somebody to do things with, to go in the same direction with, because that's what makes it so meaningful. That's what makes it work. And it works well that way. And we always gonna run into some issues, but you can work them out better when you both going in the same direction.
You know, that's really fascinating. And when I was talking to you before we started today, you were talking about emotional emancipation circles. And
Hmm.
all I could think about is how healing this is. Because even when we have reality shows,
Right. Mhm.
the one indicator
Right.
as to whether you're going to be a person who's ready for a relationship is how well you can regulate your emotions.
Right.
So if there was one thing that I would tell everybody that they need to get in control of, and they need to seek a partner that's able to regulate their emotions.
Hmm.
You need to, all y'all out here that's joined us today, to have a healthy relationship, you have to learn how to regulate your emotion. That's the one factor. And when I listen to you, Miss Leona, and the things that you are doing in our community, that is exactly what you're doing. You're preparing people for healthy relationships. And I would like for you to just explain to everybody, what is that healing circle? Tell us what you do in these emotional emancipation circles, because that's the key to being in the mindset to even be in a relationship with someone and get out there and start dating.
Okay, when you think of emotional emancipation circles for what we do, emotional emancipation is you have to think about um, what our community have gone through, starting with slavery.
Mm.
You know, how we've been separated during that time, man, woman, child, many situations as we went through uh, uh, the Civil War and after. There were separations within our communities, putting us in as we in doing all this time. I like to say that as we went through all these different stages, we never had therapy. I like to always mention that because we continued to go through Jim Crow. We didn't have therapy. We continued to go. And to this day, we have never had therapy. And I mention that because leaving the military myself, after leaving the military, I went through therapy after I had been in a war.
Mm.
So you would think that after all the trauma that our ancestors went through, that we would have had some type of therapy. We don't have to, and to look at instances. I also like to mention that we continue to do things within our community just like we did during slavery because we never had therapy. We continue to do things that it don't seem like we're doing it because it's normal to us. However, I think once we find out more of who we are, it helps us tremendously. And that's what the emotional emancipation circles are all about, helping us find out who we are.
Yeah, I mean, think about how long slavery went on. It was an institution that happened for 12 generations.
Right.
12 generations of slavery. That is 400 years. I mean, that is a lot of time to be perpetually in a state of trauma as an entire group of people.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It's like every time I think about it, I have read books about slavery. I have studied slavery. I have studied trauma and all of its implications, but I never really feel like I have wrapped my brain around what happened, slavery, and the effect, the psychological effect, not to mention the economic and all of those effects that it's had on us, but what it has done to us emotionally. How can we regulate when we were forced to operate in a system that was dysfunctional for everybody involved, not just for us as descendants of slaves, but also for the individuals who are perpetuating and continuing the slavery. All of us are affected by this. It's a miracle we're able to do anything.
And that's why I think we are miracle people like that. Because we are. We've always been able to do anything through whatever we've gone through. We continue to go through it, and then we continue to dance, trying to find out, how do we find love? You know?
And finding love is something that we had. I even think about, like, who were we as a people before the white people came and stole us from our land, right?
Right.
Took us and brought us here. What were we like? And we were a peaceful, loving individuals.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at science tells us, according to the mitochondria DNA, that all human beings exist based on the love of a Black woman. That's what I didn't say that. Science told us that.
And then you think about, we didn't have any issues to be angry about. We lived, it was warm. We could eat fruit off the trees. We didn't have to hunt or kill. So we didn't have that mentality. We was in love with what we were doing, where we were at. We were loving each other. We was doing what you do. It was like the Garden of Eden.
Yes. There was an abundance.
Right.
Leona.
Yes, it was. And so when you in an environment like that, you're not angry. You're peaceful.
You're loving.
You love it.
And there was no fighting over territory and fighting over food and resources, because the soil I talked to my friend who's from Africa. He said, you throw seeds out your window, next thing you know, something's growing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the land was so fertile, and the people in our culture is so inclusive and caring. That is where I would love for us, after 12 generations of slavery, I would love for us to get back to that, so that we can love each other. I feel like all of this patriarchy and sexism and racism, that's whiteness.
And that's what emotional emancipation circles are all about. Getting back to finding out who we really are, so that we don't have to guess, is this the way to do it?
And the beauty of it, there's a healing force within us to get back to this.
Right.
And this is why we look for love so much. We're looking to return back to who we were originally.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, this is so remarkable. Okay, everybody, how you doing? I see more people are joining us, Miss Leona.
Okay.
Everybody's looking for love. Everybody's joining us today. I just want to say welcome to everyone. We're talking about the challenges of modern dating, but it's not just modern dating. It really is us trying to get back to who we are as a people, a place of love, not capitalism, not hatred, not fighting, not shooting each other up. All of the evils of society that did not come from us. And whenever we take on whiteness, and I'm not talking about all white people, I'm talking about the dominant culture, because there's some white people that get it. So I'm not bashing a group of people. Right. But what I'm saying is that whenever we take on, you got to do what I say, and we take on this toxic masculinity and this horrible way that women are toward men, anytime we do that, we are walking away from who we are as a people, and it's time for us to return. And any of you guys out here, let me know if y'all looking for love, you are looking to return back to who we are as an original people. And so that's what we're here today to talk about. And Miss Leona and myself, we're going to help you get through it, because what does real healthy love look like to you, Leona?
Oh, okay. Real healthy love look like a partnership.
Come on. What's a partnership?
Like two people that's working together to make something happen between the two, to make something happen into one. And they can still be the two people who they are. You don't ever want to lose who you are in the process. But when you got a partner who want to go with that, then you're going in the right direction. And so that's what it's all about. The two of you going in the right direction. It takes two. It takes two for everything. It takes two for us to come into the world.
And let me tell you something. To have what Max is saying over here, having a good time, that's what real healthy love looks like. Anybody else want to go in there? Okay, Max is saying avoiding people with lots of baggage. Well, Max, guess what? You got your baggage too. Yeah. And you ain't going to show your baggage to people immediately, because guess what, Max? I got baggage, but my baggage is locked in the closet. And I'm not going to show you my baggage until we get to know each other more. And then I'll open the closet a little bit, and a little bit of my baggage will come out. And then I'm sitting there like, uh-oh, are you still going to love me even though you saw some of my baggage? I don't know. It's not that simple. Avoiding people with lots of baggage. Well, Black Lexicon is saying become love first. Yeah. Come on, Black Lexicon. I love that. You want to have real healthy love, you have to become that. You have to embody that. I like Black Lexicon, because if you're looking for love, you have to become lovable.
Right, right.
What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. You got to come lovable, and you can come lovable when you know who you are.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So what else? What else? I think it's simple, but also a matter of luck. Could be luck, or it could be synchronicity, Max.
Yeah, luck.
It could be synchronicity. Who knows? Who knows? How about anybody else? How about you guys? Type in the chat. What do you think real healthy love looks like compared to what we see on TV?
Okay.
But what does it look like in reality? And what Miss Leona is saying, and I absolutely agree with her, she says it is a partnership. A partnership. That means we are coming together as equals. There is not one above the other and another person above another. I'm not your child, and I am not your mother. We are two functional adults coming together with our baggage. Yes, Max. Even though we have baggage, we're going to have healthy conversations, and we're going to do it in a way where you are able to regulate your emotions. What does that look like? That means if somebody makes me upset, I'm going to have the discipline to stop and to reflect on what is it about this person that's making me upset? This person who I love so much. What is it about them that upsets me and why? Taking a look at the feelings that come up for you that only come up for you when you're in an intimate relationship. It ain't gonna come out in your friends. It ain't gonna come out with your girlfriends. It ain't gonna come out with your guy friends. It's only gonna come out with the person who you're intimately involved in. That's a unique relationship. It ain't your boss. I mean, it could be your boss, but it's a different type of a relationship. It could be your subordinate. That's a different type of relationship. It is just your intimate partner is a unique category. I'm talking about in terms of attachment. That's the person that's going to get you going more because you're more invested in that relationship. Mari is saying it is true companionship. Look at Mari. She's so cute. It's true companionship. Thank you, Mari. What do you think about that? Having a partnership and companionship.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You think that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That they would have that true companionship.
It sounds about right. Equal.
Equal.
We still trying to get together as two. Mm-hmm.
I love it. Okay, Max is following up with a comment. If one partner is a narcissist, for example, the marriage would be a tough road. Okay, let me just say, even people who have tendencies of narcissism, deep down inside, guess what, Max? They're looking for love and validation more so than anybody.
Absolutely.
Those toxic people are scared. They are operating from fear. And I think that's where healing your trauma can move you away from that whole narcissism.
Oh, yeah.
People like to use that term, but people who are in toxic, rocky relationships, it's always up, always down, always fighting somebody, always arguing with somebody, always getting angry and not controlling your temper and all of those things that I talked about, not being able to regulate your emotion. Those people can be classified as narcissistic and having those tendencies. And if they haven't gotten into Miss Leona's healing circle or any type of healing and therapeutic, because we talked about slavery and 12 generations of us have been in slavery. This is the aftermath, and there's so much healing that needs to be done. So when I look at people who have those toxic narcissistic tendencies, because we don't know if they're narcissists or not, but when they have those toxic tendencies, underneath a lot of that is a little scared child.
It is. It's always something underneath that. What's causing that trauma, that reaction?
And connecting with that and not saying that's just who I am. You got to accept me for who I am. No, that is what you had to become and attach yourself to so that you can shield yourself from harm. Very interesting. Okay, everybody. Today I got Miss Leona. She is all about healing the Black community and making things balanced. Slavery has created an imbalance between all of us. And so she is working with her emancipation circles, her healing circles through dance and movement so that people in our community can heal. And all of us are looking for love, even people who are narcissists. Yes, Max, even people who are narcissists, even self-aware narcissists, which is a tiny percent, will be difficult to live with. Yeah, a lot of people are difficult to live with when they haven't done a healing circle, when they're ashamed, when they're operating out of fear, when they don't feel like they're lovable, when they sabotage relationships because they're in something that could be healthy and it's scary for them, when they feel like they're not worthy. What else happens, Leona? Miss Leona.
And all those feelings and those people, and they looking for a relationship, and that's that fear, what'll happen.
Oh my God. So we can talk a little bit about people who are still waiting for love or healing from love that hurt them.
Mm,
What would you say to somebody who feels like love has just passed them by? What would you say to them?
you just gotta look at things. I think people that look at anything negatively like that in a negative light, they'll kind of push it in that direction.
Mm,
Kind of try to change that self-talk. That's really important. Kind of change that self-talk. Hey, that and I think you may draw people to you more.
yeah, so that's really interesting. If you're telling yourself,
Mm-hmm.
love has passed me by, it's too late for love for me,
Mm,
that's a negative self talk because no matter how old you are, you're ready for love. You can be ready for love. I really do like the fact I was watching The Bachelor, Miss Leona,
all right.
and huh?
Okay.
Yeah, I was watching The Bachelor, and they had a series of The Bachelor. Now, usually The Bachelor is where there's like a single person, a man or a woman. They're the bachelor or the bachelorette, and
Right.
they have like a sea of potential suitors, and
Right.
they have to narrow it down each week and find their love. But recently, they picked older adults who are looking for love. And you talk about so much better. That show was so elevated when they have like really serious people. It
Right.
wasn't raunchy. Like
Right.
Miss Leona, them shows be raunchy sometimes.
No.
But when they had seniors on there, older adults on there who were looking for love, it elevated the whole show and it was really
Okay.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like I don't know. I just feel like shows like that, they did a better job there. But I'm just curious about what advice would you give how to begin to heal if your pursuit of love has left you wounded? What do you do if people are like totally exhausted or wounded because of love?
I think all we can do is take a deep breath, sit down and think about what we just went through,
Yes.
get some lessons from it, and then find out how maybe we can make it better. But I think in most situations, that's what we got to do. We got to move forward.
I like that because so many people jump into another relationship and
Mm,
they haven't fully processed what happened with their old relationship.
right.
You know, they don't take time to stop, to think, to
Right.
figure out what lesson did I learn? What do I need to learn about myself?
Right.
How can I make this better next time? Because clearly you did something to attract that person to you,
Mm,
even though, and it's interesting because I've been talking to a lot of people about what were the red flags that you ignored
right.
because you was looking for love so much and so attached to this person, you just ignored the red flags. And I really like this because hopefully when you think about the lessons that you learned, that you can participate in self-love and be compassionate with yourself to know I've I made a mistake and it's okay. What would you say to that?
And I think that we have to look at it that way. That we're gonna make mistakes. They made a mistake too. It takes two even to make the mistakes.
Yes.
Just like it took two to get into the relationship. I think we got to look at it that we're two different individuals trying to come together as one. And either we want to work on it together and make it happen, and we're going to have to go through ups and downs in order to do that. It's not going to be easy, no matter how matched we are. It's going to be some ups and downs. That's what life is, yin and yang. And and that's what's going to happen in a relationship. Are you going to hang in there? Are you going to deal with those issues? Or are you going to walk away and say, this is not what I came in here for?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that because So many people who were in relationships, they feel like someone treated them badly and they
Right.
walk away from that relationship bitter and
Yeah.
angry and mad. And that's not who we are.
Mm.
That's
Right.
not who we are. I mean, bitter. And I just feel like those bitter people, they take to the internet and they put out just hatred and nastiness toward the opposite sex or toward someone who's similar to the person. And they're not able to look like what you said, to take accountability for their part and the reason why the relationship failed.
Right. For that moment.
Yeah. So having compassion for yourself and compassion for others. Boy, we got people in here. So Black Lexicon is saying acts of love for a spouse is different than acts of love for a parent or a friend. I think so, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what Max is saying. I like Max. Hey, Max is saying focus on activities that you like, biking, car shows, adult classes, and you will find others will with common interest. Bar scene is the worst idea. Really? I don't know. When I was in Chicago, I used to meet a lot of interesting people. I used to go to lounges in Chicago. Where are you from, Miss Leona?
I'm from Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Then me too. So
Yeah.
I used to go to these lounges in Chicago, and it's like the cute little soirees that I used to do.
Well,
And
yeah.
yeah, I loved it.
I did too. I used to go to lounges. Actually, I love dancing. So in Chicago, I was always going to somewhere where it was dancing or stepping or
Woo!
that, and that's what I do in my studio.
Oh my God. Look at Max. Max is from Milwaukee. Well, I know Max. Maybe Max has driven down to Chicago. I used to hang out to in where I used to hang out at the warehouse. I used to go to the warehouse. I used to party so hard at the warehouse. I would leave that place and the sun would be up. And I'm like, what time of the day is this? That's how hard I used to party. Anyway, I used to love it. Anyway, look at Max from Milwaukee. Okay. So anyway, today we have been talking about, it's the top of the hour, so we can wrap everything up. We have been talking about everybody looking for love. I want to thank you so much, Miss Leona, for joining me today. I want to remind everybody to follow me on Instagram and follow me on TikTok, Coaching with Dr. Alicia. This is my website. If you want to work with me about finding love, about healing, you want to work for me, or if you want to get in contact with Miss Leona, coachingwithdralicia.com. Also, text the word love, LOVE, to 87948, and you will get information about when I go live to have these healing conversations, because this is where we come up with some answers. We ain't be pointing finger at anybody. And Max is agreeing with us. He's saying everyone I know loves Chicago, visited a few times. Yeah, I like Milwaukee too. I've been to the Summerfest. I know Milwaukee got some good partying going on up there too. But just thank you for, another discussion about healing conversations. If you're someone longing for love, remember you're not alone. And your desire for connection is valid, human, deeply sacred, and a need to get back to the loving place of which we all became before our ancestors were kidnapped. Anyway, before we go, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, everybody, and share this with someone who needs a little encouragement on their own journey for love. And Miss Leona, last words to say for everybody before we wrap up tonight?
And I look forward to everybody finding that love that they want, that they deserve, and just being who you are.
Just being who you are, and you're good enough. Say that to yourself in the mirror. I am good enough.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'll see you next time. I'll see you, Mari's World. Please catch it. See you, Max and Black Lexicon and everybody else. I see hundreds of people joining us tonight. And so see you next time, next Monday. Until then, stay soft, stay curious, stay connected. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.